Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about bipolar disorders and specifically metabolic health as it relates to bipolar disorders, and I will put a link to this article in the description for the video. This is a little more technical than I normally do, but we're going to do the best that we can here. While they share similar depressive and cognitive symptoms, the biological underpinnings of bipolar disorder and major depressive disorder are distinct. A novel study appearing in biological psychiatry called Cognitive Neuroscience and Neuroimaging is the first to identify clinically relevant pathways linked to metabolic dysfunction, brain structure, and cognition in mood disorders, with stronger and more specific effects observed in bipolar disorder. It highlights the potential of targeting metabolic pathways to improve cognitive symptoms in bipolar disorder. What do I think they're talking about? I think they're talking about things like your insulin level, right? Your blood sugar, the kinds of foods that you eat, what's going on in your gut. And there is some argument that the disease of any kind, right, whether it's the disease of the mind, like a behavioral health issue, or a disease of the body, starts in the gut. And I think this is where they're going with this. Major depressive disorder and bipolar disorder are disabling psychiatric conditions, significantly impairing mood regulation and biological rhythms. Researchers combined metabolic biomarkers, structural brain imaging, and cognitive assessments to determine how metabolic dysfunction relates to brain structure and cognition. Patients with bipolar disorder were found to exhibit a more severe metabolic profile characterized by insulin resistance. So here we go, right? We're talking about insulin. And, look, I'm 59 years of age. I've tried to be more cognizant of some of the things that I put in my body. And some of the research that I've done is that obviously the more that we eat, the more frequently we eat, right, causes insulin spikes, right? Every time we eat, we get an insulin spike. And that's why if you eat too much, or you eat too much of the wrong foods, which cause insulin spikes, guess what? You gain weight, right? And so, there used to be this sort of idea that, in order to keep your metabolism running all day long, you should have 5 or 6 small meals. But every time you eat, what does it do? It spikes your insulin. You're better off to have 2 meals, which is what I now do. I don't snack during the day. I have, a late breakfast / early lunch at around 11:30, 12, and I focus on protein, because protein is what helps, everything else run, right? You can't run without protein. You can't have muscle tissue without protein. So I focus on protein, and I have some healthy fats, and I have a little bit of carbohydrates, right? I try to have some complex carbohydrates, right? And then I don't eat again until dinner, and it may be 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it depends. And I let my insulin stay constant. And so what they're talking about here is insulin. More recently, GLP-1 receptor agonists, currently used for metabolic conditions, have gained attention for their potential positive effects on both mood and cognition. And so you've heard a lot of talk about GLP-1, this drug that they're using for people to lose weight. Why are they able to lose weight with it? Because it regulates insulin. And when you keep the insulin level, instead of going up and down like a yo-yo, then the body can start to use fat as an energy source. But I've also seen, and I've talked about this in another video, that GLP-1 they're doing some research which indicates it could help with addiction. Fantastic. And now seems that perhaps the GLP-1 may be able to help with these types of mental health issues, because it regulates insulin. And so I think this is important stuff. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Perhaps you can do a better job of explaining this stuff than I have. Hopefully you understood where I was going with this. And let me know your thoughts. Are you using GLP-1 for weight loss or for addiction treatment, whatever it happens to be? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. If you're a family, you're watching this video, and there's an issue going on in your family, and I've not made a video about it, let me know. Post in the comments. I will make you a video, because if it's affecting your family, it's almost certainly affecting somebody else's, and I make this content so you can get the information that you need. I also want to talk to you about a new book. So we just released a book on the Marchman Act. I'll put a link to that book, which is free. like all the videos I give you. It's free. All you got to do is download it. I'll put a link to that. You go onto the link, click on the link, you put your name, your email in. It sends you a link to your email address, and then you can download it. And here's what's cool about the book. It's 9 chapters long, all about Marchman Act. Each chapter has a downloadable video where I'm talking about that particular chapter, that particular issue. And I'm even wearing a shirt and tie. I even look like a lawyer, right? Cool stuff. But it took us a long time. I spent a lot of time and energy creating this book so that you can get more information. You can learn more about the Impeachment Act and how the process works. And we're working on one for guardianship, and we're going to work on one for Baker Act. Again, I'm trying to give you as much information as I can, as much value as I can, so you can decide if you even want to have a conversation with us and talk about what options may or may not be available for your family. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. It helps us to get this content out to more people so we can help more people. So please, this helps. And if you want more of this content that I make every day, please subscribe to the channel. And with that said, thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.